Okay, so we're picking up in Joshua chapter 15, verse 17. Just start at Genesis and take a right, because it'll show up eventually. It's only 6 in. Okay, now Sure. Chapter 15, verse 17, but I'm actually going to reread 16 because I know we finished, that's where we read it last week, but it kind of goes together here, so I'm going to pick up actually at 16. It makes more sense. And Caleb said, the one who attacks Kiriath Sephor and captures it, I will give him Achsar, my daughter, as a wife. Othniel, the son of Kenaz, the brother of Caleb, captured it. So he gave his Achsah, his daughter, as a wife. It came about that when she came to him, she persuaded him to ask her father for a field. So she alighted from the donkey, and Caleb said to her, "What do you want?" Then she said, "Give me a blessing, since you have given me the land of the Negev. Give me also springs of water." So he gave her the upper springs and the lower springs. This is the inheritance of the tribes of the sons of Judah according to their families. All right, I'm going to pause for just a second to say, I am going to be tongue-tied with names and do a terrible job today, and it's probably going to be worse than last week, because it's almost all names, and I can't figure half of them out how you say them, so I'm going to admit now, if I say it wrong, and I say the same name 2 different ways, deal with it. I'm sorry. I've got problems. I tried it this week, and it was bad enough that I just finally decided we're just going to I'll do my best, and I'm sorry. It's going to not be good. Yeah, but I don't know that you all will, but I'm trying. That's what I want you to know. I'm making an effort. I read through them trying, but okay. Because today, basically, all we're going through is who's getting what out of the tribes of Israel, and what the boundaries are, and what the names are, and such son of gets this part of the land. So, and the other interesting thing with a lot of this is that a lot of these places, we don't even know exactly where they are because the names have changed, which happens a lot. So if you try to even look the stuff up on a map, you can get the boundaries, but trying to get what went to each tribe, good luck. It's you don't know what some of the borders are. But anyway, we'll continue on, do the best we can here. Now, the cities at the extremity of the tribe of the sons of Judah, towards the border of Edom on the south, where Kabzeel and Edur and Jagar and Kenath and Dimona and Adadah and Kadesh and Hazor and Ithnan, Ziph and Telam and Biloth and Hazor Hadath and Kerioth Hezron, that is Hazor, Amam and Shema and Moladah and Hazar Gadah and Heshmon and Beth Pelet and Kazir Shaul and Beersheba and Bizioth Balal and and Ezem and Etaloth and Chazil and Hormath and Ziklag and Medmanah and Sanshah and Labath and Shishim and Ain and Ramon, and in 29 cities with their villages. In the lowland, Eshtal and Zoar and Ashna and Zanoh, and in Genim, Tepur and Enam, Jarmuth and Adullam, Sokal and Azekah and Shiram and Edith and Gedera and Gederathim, 14 cities with their villages. Zenam and Hadashi and Migdal Gad and Dilian, and Mizpeth, and Jokthim, Lachish, and Bozkath, and Eglon, and Kaban, and Lamas, and Chilatite, and Gederoth, Beth Dagon, and Naamah, and Mekdah, 16 cities with their villages, Libnah, and Ether, and Ashan, and Ipthah, and Ashnab, and Nezib, and Kilah, and Ashzib, and Mareshah, 9 cities with their villages. Ekron with its towns and its villages, from Ekron even to the sea, all that were by the side of Ashdod with their villages. Ashdod and its town and its villages, Gaza, its towns and its villages, so far as the brook of Egypt and the great sea, even its coastline in the hill country. Shamir and Jatir and Sokah and Dana and Kirath Sana, that is Debir, and Anab and Eshtamah and Anim and Goshen and Holon and Galab, 11 cities with their villages. Arab and Dumah and Eshah and Junam and Beth Tapur and Afakah and Humtab and Kirath Arab, that is Hebron and Zeror, 9 cities with their villages. Maon, Kamel, and Ziph, and Judah, and Jezreel, and Jokdrim, and Zanob, Kaid, Gibah, and Timnah, 10 cities with their villages. Halhal, Beth Zur, and Gedor, and Marath, and Beth Anath, and Elklon, and 6 cities with their villages. Kiriath Baal, that is Kiriath Jearim, and Rabbah, 2 cities with their villages. In the wilderness, Beth Arab, Midian, and Sekath, and Nibshan, and the city of Salt, and Engedi, 6 cities with their villages. Now, as the Jebusites and inhabitants of Jerusalem, the son of Judea, could not drive them out, so the Jebusites live with the sons of Judea at Jerusalem until this day. Now, one thing, city of Salt, that's one of the ones that we don't know what that is today, just for point of interest anyway. So that's one of the things we can't figure out what they had, apparently. The other thing I thought was interesting, they're supposed to have gone in the promised land and drive everybody out. Now, we know they made peace with one group, right? Unintentionally, foolishly, to be honest. But at the same time, you've got here where they didn't drive out, and throughout this, you'll find they didn't drive out a lot of Canaanites. But here, the Jebusites, they couldn't drive them all out of Jerusalem. Now, they don't seem to make a big deal out of this, but at the same time, my question is, why are they not following what Yahweh told them to do? Isn't this just adding more and more to their downfall that you know is coming? I mean, they're not following what Yahweh's telling them to do. Now, they're getting all this land, and they fought all these battles and won everything. Things have gone really well for them, but they're already not following what Yahweh told them to do. And that seems like a big concern, and they just kind of brush over this, and they do this another time as well. And so it's somewhat concerning that they don't seem to have a problem with this, which, again, anytime we're not following what Yahweh is telling us to do, I see it as being very problematic. But this is just barely touched on. And why couldn't they drive them out? Why? Don't know. They just didn't want to leave, and they didn't. That's the bottom line. It's one of those many things. Why did it happen this way? I don't know. It just did. Why? Because that's all the Bible tells us. If we needed to know more, God would have told us more. Sorry, after butchering that many names, I needed a little water. So now we're going to...
You know what I told you last week?
Yeah.
My daddy said that when he was growing up, there was this old man, and if they asked him to read, and he didn't know the word, how to pronounce it, he'd say elephant and go on.
Yeah, but it'd if I did that, there'd be a lot of elephants in this reading. I mean, all this is some pretty rough stuff to me. I'm not the Bible scholar when it comes to pronouncing these names.
I think you did a good job.
Well, thank you. I'm doing the best I can. So I'm going to go butcher some more here in chapter 16. So let's continue on. Then the lot of the sons of Joseph went from the Jordan at Jericho to the waters of Jericho on the east into the wilderness, going up from Jericho through the hill country to Bethel. It went from Bethel to Luz and continued to the border of the Archites at Adaroth. It went down westward to the territory of the Japhilites and as far as the territory of lower Beth Horon, even to Gezer, I don't know, and it ended at the sea. The sons of Joseph, Manasseh and Ephraim, received their inheritance. Now, this was the territory of the sons of Ephraim, according to their families. The border of their inheritance eastward was Adaroth Adar, as far as upper Beth Horon. Then the border went westward at Machmethah at the north, and the border continued. The border turned about eastward to Nath Shiloh and continued beyond it at the east of Janah. It went down from Janah to Adaroth to the Narah, then reached Jericho and came out at the Jordan. From Tappuah, the border continued westward to the brook of Kanah, and it ended at the sea. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the sons of Ephraim according to their families, together with the cities which were set apart for the sons of Ephraim in the midst of the inheritance of the sons of Manasseh, all the cities with their villages. But they did not drive out the Canaanites who lived in Gezer, so the Canaanites live in the midst of Ephraim to this day, and they became forced laborers. So they can make them do forced labor, but they can't run them out? Again, it seems like another problem, right? And the idea, if you'll recall, the idea for Yahweh telling them to drive everybody out is to have people that were like them among them. Yahweh didn't want them to have people that worship false gods around them and had bad practices. Again, one of the big things we know that annoyed him, Yahweh, was not just the idols, which of course that's a huge part of it, and the false gods, but it was also the sexual practices, and that was another huge thing that seemed to really annoy Yahweh, which I get, but my point in saying this is he didn't want these types of things around them. That's why they were supposed to drive everybody out or kill them. Why they didn't do it in these cases, I don't know, especially when they're able to make them forced labor, but they can't drive them out or kill them. I don't understand that. I'm just bringing it up to make a point, because now we've got two different tribes so far that didn't drive everybody out, that didn't do what Yahweh told them. And why do you think they're going to go further into sin more quickly? Because they didn't do what they were told to do initially by God. And so that seems to be a pattern with Israel. Okay, any questions so far? I know there's not a whole lot to ask questions about other than my poor pronunciations. All right, so let's continue on.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Appropriate
What you
to
got?
ask. Was there actually an and in between every one of these names? Because in my Bible, it was just a comma.
No, it's commas. Well, it depends on translation. Some are commas, some are and. I get it. Well, keep in mind there's no punctuation, and there's no sentence ends in the language this was written in. So in reality, we're putting all that stuff in. So it's whoever's doing the translation's putting in, because it's not their language. It was just okay. Start writing. It's like last week I told you I felt like this huge run-on sentences, but when you know that there's no punctuation, sometimes you don't know where to put that period in or the comma in, and that makes it rough, I'm sure, for people to doing the translations. So I'm glad that's not me. I'm not sure I love being the one reading some of the names either, but that's okay. Okay, now this was the lot for the tribe of Manasseh, for he was the firstborn to Joseph. To Machir, the firstborn of Manasseh, the father of Gilead, were allotted Gilead and Bashan, because he was a man of war. So the lot was made for the rest of the sons of Manasseh according to their families. For the sons of Abiezer, and the sons of Helek, and the sons of Ezrael, and the sons of Shechem, and the sons of Hefer, and the sons of Shemida, they were the male descendants of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, according to their families. Now I'm going to stop here to bring up the fact that in 2 starts out, so the lot was made for them. So they're basically casting lots again. So they're gambling. But they're doing the gambling with I'm making a point of this to say that they understood this as God controls the dice, basically. And whatever he wants to happen is what's going to happen. And these are part of part of the chief priest's set of tools, if you will, is basically dice. And so they are casting lots, but they're doing it with the other understanding that Yahweh's in control, and that's the intent. So yes, it's gambling on who gets what, but the expectation is that Yahweh's still in control. So just want to clarify that. Okay. However, Zelophehad, the son of Hefer, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, had no sons, only daughters. And these are the names of his daughters: Mahlah and Noah, Hogloth, Milcah, and Tirzah. They came before Eleazar the priest and before Joshua the son of Nun, and asked the leaders, saying, "The Lord commanded Moses to give us an inheritance among our brothers." So, according to the command of the Lord, he gave them an inheritance among their father's brothers. Thus they fell 10 portions to Manasseh, besides the land of Gilead and Bashan, which is beyond the Jordan, because the daughters of Manasseh received an inheritance among his sons, and the land of Gilead belonged to the rest of the sons of Manasseh. The borders of Manasseh ran from Asher to Michmeth, which was east of Shechem. Then the border went southward towards the inhabitants of Ut. We're continuing. Elephant there, make you happy. The land of Tupua belonged to Manasseh, but Tupua on the border of Manasseh belonged to the sons of Ephraim. The border went down to the brook of Kanah, southward of the brook. These cities belonged to Ephraim, among the cities of Manasseh. And the border of Manasseh was on the north side of the brook, and it ended at the sea. The south side belonged to Ephraim, and the north side to Manasseh, and the sea was their border. And they reached to Asher on the north and to Issachar on the east. Now, notice they're talking about boundaries. They're talking about easily noticeable place, brooks, streams, something like that. Now, my reason for bringing this up is, think about it. When they go in and take this land, they have to document all this stuff to even figure out who gets what and where and what are the exact borders. Why do they say good fences make good neighbors? Because you know where your line is, okay? Don't cross the line. That's one of the things for it. And there are a lot of people like that. And if you don't start being more specific, what's going to happen is in the future there's going to be a dispute about who gets what land. Because they're already increasing in number from what they went into the desert as. Look at the millions they are now at this point. And we don't know exact, but we've done the math before and figured it's a pretty large number. They need to know where their borders are so they know where they can build and who gets what. Even if it's a forest, who's going to cut the trees and get to take the trees? You need your borders. It's not about, that's why they say good fences make good neighbors. Good borders is what they're referring to. And it's true because you need to know where your properties are. So think about all the work that had to go into this just to divide the land up. It's not something that's as simple as we think it is. I mean, we read through this stuff, it's like, oh yeah, so they cut up the land. Yeah, but how much land did they have to walk over to find the borders they wanted to use? Just trying to put it out there that there's a lot more to this than people necessarily pay attention to. Picking up in 12 here. But the sons of Manasseh could not take possession of these cities because the Canaanites persisted in living in the land. Here we have the fourth tribe we're going through. And again, they didn't push everybody out. The Canaanites still lived there. They didn't decimate them. They didn't get rid of them. Why? Good question. It came about that when the sons of Israel became strong, they put the Canaanites to forced labor, but they did not drive them out completely. How does it mean when the sons of Israel became strong? Weren't they always strong? They had Yahweh with them? I mean, they went in and defeated entire nations, killed entire cities, killed everything in it, but they couldn't push out the Canaanites? Yes, ma'am.
My Bible, study Bible, this is not me, says on that, it says possibly referring to the days of David and Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
And it says possibly.
Yeah, and I read that as well in one of my Bibles, actually one you gave me. But that's, again, why couldn't they get them out before? My guess is a lot of times when they fail at something, what's happened? They're not following Yahweh, right? I mean, every time historically when the Israelites try to go do something and they do it on their own, they don't pray about it, or they something like that, or they've sinned and not asked for forgiveness, this is what happens. So you have to wonder, what have they done? Because you've got this in 3 tribes: Ephraim, Manasseh, one before that. So we've got at least 3 that have had this problem where they've not been able to push everybody out. And historically, in everything we've read so far, that's when the Israelites can't accomplish something, is when they're not following what they've been told to do by Yahweh. Then the sons of Joseph spoke to Joshua, saying, "Why have you given me only one lot and one portion for an inheritance, since I am a numerous people whom the Lord has thus far blessed?" Joshua said to them, "If you are a numerous people, go up to the forest and clear a place for yourself, there in the land of the Perizzites and on the end of the Rephaim, since the hill country of Ephraim is too narrow for you." The sons of Joseph said, "The hill country is not enough for us. And all the Canaanites who live in the valley land have chariots of iron, both those who are in Beth Shean and its towns, and those who are in the valley of Jezreel." Joshua spoke to the house of Joseph, to Ephraim and Manasseh, saying, "You are a numerous people and have great power. You shall not have only one lot, but the hill country shall be yours. For though it is a forest, you shall clear it, and its farthest borders, it shall be yours. You shall drive out the Canaanites, even though they have chariots of iron, and although they are strong." So you've got this territory of Manasseh, you've got them coming back saying, no, this isn't enough. I want more. They're not accepting what the chief priest is telling them. And even when he tells them, hey, take this additional area, they go and complain about it. But at the same time, I'm looking beyond that and looking at the fact, once again, they haven't cleared out people. They're saying, well, if we take this, well, we're going to have to fight again. Yeah, and they've got chariots of iron. Okay, can't you make your own and do the same thing? But, again, chief priest tells them, nope, you'll be able to take care of it. Which, I hope for their sake that means he's prayed about this beforehand. Otherwise, he's sending them to their death. So, just, again, looking at what historically has happened in everything we've read so far. All right. So yeah, they're getting more land, but they had to ask for it. And again, I don't know how they're deciding how much land each person gets. Is this God is disseminating this to them? I hope so. But again, you've already got a complaint. Again, why you need to know where your borders are. Okay, continuing on. Then the whole congregation of the sons of Israel assembled themselves at Shiloh and set up the tent of meeting there, and the land was subdued before them. there remained among the sons of Israel 7 tribes who had not divided their inheritance. So Joshua said to the sons of Israel, how long will you put off entering to take possession of the land which the Lord, the God of your fathers, has given you? So they've just not tried to take any possession. They haven't even gone out to mark off areas and say, hey, this is what we would like to, you to cast the lots for. Because I have a feeling they had to have some idea of what was there, obviously, have it somewhat mapped out before they could even cast the lots. You've got to have things divided up, right? I mean, you got to know, what does 1 equal? This is territory 1, territory 2, whatever's on the dice.
I was just thinking that maybe there would have been enough land for them had they done what they were supposed to do and drive out the inhabitants that were already there.
Yeah, it's like, why did they stop fighting? Shouldn't they have driven everybody out before they stopped and started dividing the land? It's the way I understood God's commandment to them, but they didn't do that. Provide for yourselves 3 men from each tribe, that I may send them, and that they may arise and walk through the land and write a description of it in accordance to their inheritance, that they shall return to me. So, again, you're not driving through this. How long does it take you to walk even 100 acres? 200 acres? 1,000 acres? And then to be able to walk not just around the area, but walk through, back and forth, so you can figure out what boundary markers can we even use to say what land, how the land can be broken up and to describe it. So to me, I'm looking at this thing, this is kind of a monumental job. Just for the 3 people to go walk all that land. They might be gone for a month before they can even come back and say, here's the description, They shall divide it into 7 portions. Judah shall stay at its territory on the south, and the house of Joseph shall stay in their territory on the north. You shall describe the land in several divisions, and bring the description here to me, and I will cast lots for you here before the Lord our God. For the Levites have no portion among you, because the priesthood of the Lord is their inheritance. Gad and Reuben and half-tribe of Manasseh also have received their inheritance eastward beyond the Jordan, which Moses, the Lord, servant of the Lord, gave them. Then the men arose and went, and Joshua commanded them, those who went, to describe the land, saying, go and walk through the land and describe it, and return to me, and I will cast lots for you here before the Lord in Shiloh. So the men went and passed through the land and described it by cities in 7 divisions in a book. And they came to Joshua to the camp at Shiloh. And Joshua cast lots for them in Shiloh before the Lord. And there Joshua divided up the land to the sons of Israel according to their divisions. Kind of cool though, right? They're getting to walk in and go, okay, so there's a city here. Looks like there's about room for 1,000 people here, or however they describe it. But kind of like to see that book that they wrote it down in, right? I mean, that'd be kind of cool to see what all they got, because isn't it cool? They're getting to literally go in and, okay, city's here. All we have to do is move in, clean up what mess is here, and we've got a city. Okay, moving on to the next one here. Now the lot of the tribe of the sons of Benjamin came up according to their families, and the territory of their lot lay between the sons of Judah and the sons of Joseph. Their border on the north side was from the Jordan. Then the border went up to the side of Jericho on the north, and went up through the hill country westward, and it ended at the wilderness of Beth-aven. From there, the border continued to Luz, to the side of Luz, that is Bethel, southward, and the border went down to Adaroth, Adair, near the hill which lies on the south of lower Beth Horon. The border extended from there and turned round on the west side southward from the hill which lies before Beth Horon southward, and it ended at Kiriath Baal, that is Kiriath Jearim, the city of the sons of Judah. This was the west side. Then the south side was from the edge of Kiriath Jearim, and the border went westward and went to the foundations of the waters of Nephtoah. The border went down to the edge of the hill, which is the valley of Ben Himron, which is the valley of Rephaim, northward, and it went down to the valley of Hinnom, to the slope of the Jebusite southward, and went down to En-Rogel. It extended northward and went to En-Shemash, and went to Geliloth, which is opposite the ascent of Edom, and it went down to the stone of Bohan and the sons of Reuben. It continued to the side in front of the Arabah northward and went down to the Arabah. The border continued to the side of Beth Hoglah and northward, and the border ended in the north bay of the Salt Sea at the south end of Jordan. This was the southern border. Moreover, the Jordan was its border on the east side. This was an inheritance of the sons of Benjamin according to the families and according to its borders all around. Now the cities of the tribe of the sons of Benjamin according to their families were Jericho and Beth Hoglah and Emek, Keziz and Beth Arabah and Zemarim and Bethel and Avim and Para and Oprah and Chephah Amani and Ophni and Geba, 12 cities with their villages, Gibeon and Ramah and Beeroth and Mizpeth and Chisparah and Mozah and Rakim and Ibril and Teralah and Zelah, Helaphah and Jebusite, that is Jerusalem, Gibeah, Kirian, 14 cities with the villages. That is the inheritance of the sons of Benjamin according to their families. And after that, I get water again.
I don't understand. I think you need to read it.
Read that again. A little bit better definition and diction. Yes, I'll work on my diction on these. Man, this is actually, I think this is worse than doing the son of. These, for some reason to me, these seem harder. These city names, and you're mixing city names with family names, and man, tongue twisters is what it feels like. But this is it's in the Bible for a reason, so we're going to go through it either way. Okay. Then the second lot fell to Simeon, to the tribe of the sons of Simeon, according to their families, and their inheritance was in the midst of the territory of the sons of Judah. So they had as an inheritance Beersheba and Sheba and Moladah and Hazar Shul and Bala and Ezem and Eltolah and Bethel and Hormah and Zikal and Beth Maraboth and Hazar Suah and Beth Leboth and Shashron, 13 cities with their villages, Ain, Rimmon, and Ether and Ashan, 4 cities with their villages. And at the villages which were around these cities, as far as Baalath, Bir, Ramah, and the Negev, which is an inheritance of the tribe of the sons of Simeon, according to their families. The inheritance of the sons of Simeon was taken from the portion of the sons of Judah, for the share of the sons of Judah was too large for them. So the sons of Simeon received an inheritance in the midst of Judah's inheritance. Okay. Everybody get that? Now you know where everything is. Going for some more territory here. Now, the third lot came up for the sons of Zebulun, according to their families, and the territories of their inheritance was as far as Sarid. Then their border went up by the west end to Maralah. It then touched Dabash and reached to the brook that is before Jokneam. Then it turned from Sarid to the east towards the sunrise as far as the border of Chisloth Tabor, and it proceeds from Debaroth up to Japhia. From there, it continued eastward towards the sunrise to Gath-Hepher, to Et-Kazin, and it proceeded to Rimmon, which stretches to Nia. The border cities around it on the north to Haphathon, and ended at the valley of Ithpahel. Included were Katah and Nahala and Shimron and Idaloth and Bethlehem, 12 cities with their villages. This was the inheritance of the sons of Zebulun, according to their families, these cities with their villages. The fourth lot fell to Issachar, to the sons of Issachar, according to their families. Their territory was to Jezreel, and included Chesulloth and Shunem and Haparam and Shion and Anath-Pathrath and Rabith and Kishion and Ebez and Remeth and En-Ganim and En-Haddah and Beth-Pazaz. The border reached to Tabor and Shahazamah and Beth-Shemesh, and the border ended at the Jordan, 16 cities with their villages. This was the inheritance of the tribe of the sons of Issachar, according to their families, with the cities with their villages. Now the fifth lot fell to the tribe of the sons of Asher, according to their families. Their territory was Helkeroth and Hala and Beton and Ashseph and Alameth and Amad and Mishal, and it reached to Carmel on the west and to Shehor Libnah. It turned towards the east to Beth Dagon and reached to Zebulun and to the valley of Iphathel, northward to Beth Emek and Nael, and it proceeded on north to Kabul. Notice they have a whole lot of Beth this and Beth that. I mean, tons of them. And Hebron and Rehoth and Hammam and Canaan, as far as Great Sidon. The border turned to Ramah and to the fortified city of Tyre, and then border turned to Hosah, and it ended at the sea by the region of Akzib. Included were Ummah and Aphek and Rehob, 22 cities with their villages. This was the inheritance of the tribes of the son of Asher, according to their families, these cities with their villages. So this is a whole lot of land being divided up. When you start kind of taking account of think of all these cities, because they just the cities we listed out, all these had to be either driven out or everybody was destroyed. This was a significant area that they're being given. But again, it's a whole lot of work to just document how to break all this up. So just trying to put it in perspective, just how long did it take them to divide this up, just to walk through all of it, to figure out what goes where. Seems like a huge task. I mean, I'm sure they probably end up making, to some degree, some of the first maps for the area, just so that they could divide it all up their way. And now the next thing you know they're going to do with a lot of these, because a lot of these cities are named after false gods. You see Baal in there a lot, or Baal, however you want to pronounce it, and a couple others. And so you know the first thing they're probably going to do is rename all these cities. So now everybody's going to have to, that travels the area is going to have to relearn all the city names, because everything's going to change. But isn't this the city of, nope, don't say that word. We're not, no, that's a no-no. So just trying to point some of that stuff out. All right, so we're going to end the class here today. So we will pick up in verse 32 is next week. And I think we've got most of the next week. We're going to do this again, but we're going to start by the end of the lesson next week. We're going to start doing normal scripture again, if you will, instead of descriptions of the handouts here. So anyway, just wanted to clarify that. Let me stop our recording here.